and then we're going to go from there.
Well, good morning. I hope you guys are pumped up. I am super excited today. I am wearing my Sydney is our warrior t-shirt for Sydney Aquilino, who is on our team. His mother rather, is on our team, and he beat leukemia, you guys. He rang the bell. He is clear. We are super excited. We thank God. It's been a long, hard journey, but I'm wearing in support of our team because it is an awesome victory in his life and the lives of his friends and family. So I just wanted to give, I don't even think Angela's on this call, but I wanted to give him a shout out. We love him and we love their family so much. You know, that's what we're about. We're about family. We're about support. We're about strength. We're all about team building. We're all about building into and pouring into each other. And so we're really excited this morning to talk a little bit about EXP, and we're going to explain to you what this company is about and why it is the fastest growing company in history and why so many huge teams and agents are coming over. A lot of excitement, a lot of buzz around this company. If you have not heard it yet, it is definitely coming. If you haven't, that's a surprise. But it's amazing when you think about kind of where you are in your life. We use the financial sort of revelations, right? When you're looking at your own numbers, like when you're looking at your P&Ls, right? We always talk about being in the black versus being in the red. In fact, we played Back in Black this morning before we played Radioactive. And so that's sort of a financial instrument, you know, how you can understand where you are in your life. And I think that I love the simplicity of that. You know, being in the black means being profitable, and being in the red means you're losing money, right? That's basically what that means. But you can apply that to anything in your life: health, relationships. It's a beautiful thing. And so we at EXP are back in black because we believe we are in a different place. We are building into and pouring into each other. We're growing our businesses, growing our families, and growing our lives together. So it's really exciting. So we'll break this down for you real quick, guys, and we'll talk about the 3 lanes. Again, we like to kind of break it down and make it simple. The concept itself is simple. So in the typical real estate company, right, you are given 1 lane to work in, and that is the sales lane, right? That is called the fast lane. You try to get as many deals as you can and make as much money as you can. And then January 1st, you start over at 0 to try to run that rat race again. So we do have incredible training. We do have incredible resources. We have incredible support from our top agents that do $100 million a year that will pour into you, that you can go to classes, icon classes, and learn some of the tools that we offer. SkySlope will go into the world, the training and support that's given to you on there and that's provided for you on there. Workplace, most collaborative tool I've ever seen in my life, where you can sort of walk down the hallway of every agency in the country and collaborate with agents all over in different markets that are willing to help and pour into you and give you training and support that you may need along the way. KV Core is a beast. We have the one and only Alexis Hughes on this call, and she is going to tell you a little bit about that. The iBuyer program and healthcare, we have so many things that are wrapped up in lane 1 that's in the black, right? We're so far above in the black on some of these things that it'll blow your mind. But this is, you know, just the beginning for us. This is kind of the core of what we do. We are a real estate company and we sell a lot of houses. But what Glenn Sanford and the team has done is built something that gives agents and entrepreneurs the ability to have some more lanes to run in, right? Which is unusual. Most agencies don't offer this. So lane 2, you get stock in the company, right? You have ownership. You get something of value as you are building your company and building your team and living your life, as you're doing what you're going to do anyway. Instead of getting the glass statues and the certificates, you actually get something of value. They still give you glass statues, as you can see behind me, but you also get something of value. The stock is, when I first joined the company, I think it was OTC and it was like $2 or $4 a share. And I think it's trading around $35 now. So we're not stock experts, but we love to have something of value that shows us that the company does care about us and wants to give us something long term, but also gives us a real sense of ownership and partnership in the company, which is cool. Lane 3, right? We'll talk about this as well. This gives you guys and all of us an ability to have some passive income. It gives us the ability to have some retirement. You know, the question is, what are you doing for your retirement? You know, maybe you have a 401k. You know, the 401ks are basically all based on stock, right? It's the stock market, right? So we go back to lane 2 about this, but this is just a fascinating and powerful tool that allows you to help agents build as you build and also have some passive income. We'll talk a little bit about it's basically like tiny referrals is kind of how we reference it. But this is the structure. And I'll tell you just really quickly about me. I won't go into too much about this, but I've been in real estate about 13 years. Started in property management, started my own firm back in 2012. Was just super passionate about serving people and also building teams. We're very family oriented, as you can tell. And I just knew that I came to a place where I was the agent's ceiling, right? I was the broker. And look, this is the traditional model, right? It's not anybody's fault. It's just real estate's been the same way for the last 50 years, right? Until somebody, and this happens in all industries, which we'll talk about in just a second, until somebody comes along and says, hey guys, you know, let's do something different. And everybody calls them crazy, right? And everybody says, nobody's going to do this. This is what's wrong with you, that you're wacky, until all of a sudden people go, you know what, there's something here. And the momentum builds the way that it has with EXP. So I knew that, you know, these people were my family, and I knew that they were my retirement plan, you know, and I was their ceiling, and I had no other structure. I had no other type of system in order to give to them, because that was all that was available. Enter Rich Tomasini and EXP Realty. He told me about this back in 2018 when nobody knew who we were. You know, we had 5,000 agents nationally, and I think we were only in 30 something states at that time, and Canada. I think we were in maybe Canada, British Columbia, Nova Scotia. I mean, very, yeah. And now, you know, what you'll find out, we're obviously in all 50 states, 13 countries, and growing. It is the fastest growing real estate company in history. Guys, we're just starting. We're just scratching the surface of what's available. So super excited about that. And we'll go on to the next slide, which I can do, I think, because I'm a co-host. All right. All right. So, you know, we talked a little bit about this, the innovation. So you have to innovate. You innovate or you die. Industries, families, health, whatever it is, you have to find ways to innovate or you die. And that is certainly true for mega organizations and mega industries across the globe. And here's some great examples, guys. You know, Blockbuster and Netflix. I mean, this is such a great, loud example. There's a killer. I'm a documentary geek, right? I love movies as well, but I'm a big fan of documentaries. So there's a really fun documentary on, I think it's Netflix, about Blockbuster, about Netflix and Blockbuster, ironically. And so it's just fascinating to look at the history of how this all went down, right? Blockbuster was, you know, the giant. And this happens again in all industries. There's always cycles. And this is true again. I like to apply it to everything. It's true with life and health and relationships and everything else. But in this particular case, they were the big giant, and Netflix came to them and said, hey, we're going to do this new thing. You guys, do you want to buy us? I think they offered it at 300 million or something at the time, 200 million, I think was their number. And Blockbuster laughed in their face. There's a famous story about them walking into the office, the business office there in the conference room, and literally getting laughed out. Nobody's ever going to do this. This is ridiculous, right? And so we know the rest of that story and how it played out. They had an opportunity, you know, to really invest in something that at the time didn't make any sense to some people. And there was obviously a vested interest in Blockbuster's success, which there's a lot of parallels there with the traditional brokerages, the brick and mortar brokerages. Circuit City, Amazon, you know, we've got the cab company and Uber, we've got travel agencies, right? I mean, there's just on and on and on. And look, this is just, again, the traditional cycles of business. Everything makes a cycle. And so, you know, that old traditional modern antiquated brokerage is being replaced now by the new modern brokerage. And that's kind of what EXP is. You know, EXP offers lane 1, everything way in the black regarding support, training, technology, tools, mentorship, support, you know, all the stuff that you need as a real estate agent, especially in this market, to help you have a leg up. You always need some kind of incentive. You need something to be able to battle your competition, and have that advantage. And so everything counts. Every little bit counts. You ever look at a game, a sports game, and then see that, it looks like one team is winning, right? And then in the last second, right, a team comes in and wins. And sometimes it's just sometimes it's that one win. Sometimes it's that one piece of information, that one nugget, that one connection that can change everything. So we're big proponents of that. So obviously EXP, as it relates to traditional brokerages, we are sort of just the next thing. We are what's next. We are what's been building, and we'll talk a little bit about why that is. I do think you're in control. Miss Hughes, thank you. Okay, so we talked about this as well. This is a cool element. One of the things that makes EXP so awesome for me and so powerful for so many others is we are one brokerage. We are not a franchise. I know firsthand, having my own company and being the broker in charge, man, it was tough. I had a growing family at the time. My kids were young. I only had 2 kids at the time, had just been married, probably 3 years. I was working incessantly. Again, we had a real powerful, beautiful culture of a family, which we brought into our team here, and EXP is like that as a whole. So we've really been able to plug into that culture, which, culture eats strategy for breakfast, as someone posted recently. I love that post. So, for us, that was a huge, powerful element, but I still struggled a lot because I'm the one that answered all the yellow envelopes from the real estate commission, right? I'm the one that had all the liability. I'm the one that had all the overhead. I couldn't keep up with my agents. I didn't have the time, the resources, the bandwidth to be able to provide for them the cutting edge technology and support that they needed. And they were very loyal, right? They all stayed with me, again, because, this was a family atmosphere, but truth be told, I wasn't providing them. I wasn't able to provide them, because I was in that antiquated structure, what they really needed to soar. And so thankfully, that the challenges, as you see in this box here, the costly overhead, being locally confined, for me, I had to find the best agents within, a 30-mile radius. And unfortunately, some of them I would train, spend hours and hours and days and months and months, and then they went and started their own brokerage. Took everything I learned, and they were now my competition, right? One of them even actually took my colors and my branding and just changed the name. But it's pretty sketch. But hey, I wish them the best, and I don't know what's going on with them now, but we'll leave that alone. Anyway, inconsistent growth, right? I just talked about this. What do you do when you're stuck? What do you do when you have a ceiling? What do you do when you desire to expand and you desire to scale, but you just don't have the bandwidth, the support, the money, the technology, the resources? I wasn't on an island. If I tried to reach out to another agent that was my competition, they wouldn't give me the time of day, or they would charge me out the wazoo to try to do some just simple stuff. And because I wanted to see these agents grow, I tried a lot of things, but it was tough. Again, limited technology, inconsistent growth incentives, being locally confined, and having the costly overhead caused me to really have a lot of sleepless nights. And again, because I cared about the agent. So the beauty of this brokerage, the beauty of it being one brokerage and being contained, is you're very scalable. You have the ability to grow, not just in the little 15-mile, 20-mile, 30-mile footprint, where, again, as I mentioned, the best agents leave you, and the ones maybe that you want to leave stay forever and suck up all your resources, God bless them. You don't have that same challenge anymore, because you can grow and support your agents, not just in your footprint, but even more geographically, right? And regionally, and internationally, as well as nationally. I've got agents in California. We're in 3 countries now and growing. And it's just amazing to think about. Barry Pulver, who's a good buddy of mine, is just exploding. And I was at the EXP Con which is one of our yearly conferences, when he connected with Jason Gessing, who is one of our executives, about, hey, this is even before the United Kingdom was open, right? He hooked up with Jason and said, hey, we ought to think about doing this. What if we opened up the United Kingdom? What would that look like? And it's a very tough market to break into because their structure is completely different, night and day from what we have in the States here. And you know what? They talked and an idea sparked, and they talked a little bit more, and more doors opened up, and they got excited, and there was some momentum, and they brought people into it. And now we are growing and have grown in the United Kingdom, I think 6 times faster than another big company that's over there that has a lot of agents. And it's unbelievable the freedom that we are now offering these agents coming into a completely different business structure that most people probably would be fearful to leave, because the way they've set it up is with a lot of dependence. And we're trying to help people be independent. We want to teach them how to be entrepreneurs and really build a business that they have support. So that teamwork, being able to scale, having the teamwork, having the support, people that really do care about you and really have a vested interest in your success, because we're all a part of one brokerage, right? My success is your success. We all build into and pour into each other. The culture is like nothing I've ever seen. Save our own company, little tiny company. The stuff that I hear these other agents coming over from companies say, as far as what they've experienced, I've never personally experienced, but the stuff I hear them say, it curls my toes. It's like it's crazy. And so I don't know the difference, but I know that it's here, and I know that it is so robust and a beautiful thing. The equity opportunity that ties into that, is having ownership and being partners with each other, again, ties into that growth and the incentive to build into and pour into each other. The international collaboration, as I touched on with Barry, how cool that I know this guy that helped, found the growth in the United Kingdom, and now it's just exploding. It's unbelievable. I think, I don't know if Barry's on here or not, but some of the stuff that's going on right now over there is just really exciting. And it's just cool to be a part of. It's inspiring to me. I love to know the guy and to be around him and just hear what he's doing and watch what's happening on a smaller, there he is, on a small scale, and even what's growing into be a much larger scale. The real-time support is great. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I think we have, is it 600 people now, or am I?
Approximately 600. It's either 600 or more by now, for sure.
So for anybody on this call who is with another firm, when you try to get support, your avenues are probably like your broker. Maybe you're on a team. Maybe you have someone who is like a mentor to you that is just pouring into you because they like you. Maybe you're paying a coach, whatever. What are the traditional routes, right, for support? What if I told you that 6 days a week, because we just added Saturday just recently, what if I told you 5 days a week for 12 hours a day, you had 600 people to support you? And on Saturday, now I think it's 8 hours, 12 hours Monday through Friday, and Saturday 8 hours. What if I told you had 600 people to support you in 7 specialized departments? How do you think that would change your business? How do you think that would change the scope of where your business has gone, the support for yourself and your team and your agents? I think it could have an impact. It's a very good possibility. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. The cloud campus environment is where you get that. Alexis is going to explain this, but I quickly say it's akin to a 20,000 square foot business park, international real estate company operating in the cloud. That's basically what it is. The efficiencies are insane. It sounds like this, right? This is what it's like. It looks different, but it sounds and feels just like this. You forget, like, in 2 seconds you're in a virtual environment, and the information is the same. And I think it's better. To me, it's obviously more streamlined, but it's more powerful because you can focus. As you may be able to tell, I have a little bit of ADHD. I have a hard time, staying focused. I'm like squirrel all the time, right? And so if I'm in a traditional environment, I'm like the butterfly. I'm talking to everybody and catching up with them. And I just have a hard time sometimes, focusing and retaining information. So if I got horse blinders on and I'm in a class, or I'm talking to agents in Texas and California and Pennsylvania and wherever about because you can in this environment collaborate with agents all over the country the way that you never could in a traditional environment. So you have the traditional, we have teams, we have, offices here. We have in-person training now that, COVID has started to wane. But we also have, so we have all everything everybody else has, right? But we also have this technology and platform that the Department of Defense is using, that Alexis is going to talk about this. I don't want to steal her thunder too much, but when the Department of Defense, Harvard University, Stanford University, Microsoft, a lot of the Fortune 500 companies have recognized this. And I'll just say this, and then we'll move on real quick. I know in my heart of hearts that this was going to happen, guys. And we own this technology, by the way. Virbela is ours. We own it. It's proprietary to us. That's important. If you hear nothing else, because this is one of the foundations of what makes this company so special and so powerful and why it's grown so fast, we own it. It is ours, right? That is very important. I honestly, in my heart of hearts, believe, just like Netflix, right? Just like, these industries that have come along and disrupted these old, antiquated giants that owned everything and were the, 300-pound gorilla. I believe someone somewhere was going to create this. I think this was because, it was needed, right, for things to go in this direction. And it just so happens to be a real estate company. I think it could have been anybody, guys, honestly, that created this platform. It just happened to be a real estate company, which is one of the reasons that it makes it so powerful. And interestingly enough, when I first started with this company a few years ago, I thought it was going to take 5 years, maybe 10 years before this caught on, because it's such a paradigm shift in the way people work. You have to, even when you explain, if you haven't ever seen it and experienced it firsthand, even hearing me explain it, it's hard to wrap your mind around, right? The power of what it is. I thought it was going to take, let's say 10 years. COVID hit, and then all of a sudden the value of something like this was exposed in a way that I don't think anything else ever could have. And now, you guys, here's the deal. The landscape has changed forever. Like, we're never going to go back to the way we were beforehand. It is not, do you think technology is getting bigger or smaller? Anybody? Bigger? That's kind of where, and this is a great example. So the live training we'll talk about as well. So let's go ahead and skip slides. Okay, so we talked, thank you, Shay. Absolutely, I think it's inevitable, and certainly in this environment as well. So international footprint, guys, we talked about this. Unbelievable. Michael Valdez, he was with Realology, and I think he managed 11 countries at that time. I think it was like, and that was a big deal. And he's come over here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he's come over here and taken his talent.
It's just like the toilet paper and the hand sanitizer, where I couldn't even get in because I needed it. So
I'm trying to find and mute.
You always need toilet paper and hand sanitizer, guys. So whatever.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Good for you. Whatever you're doing there, bravo. Keep up the good work. So Michael, he brought his talent, and he brought his focus, and he brought his skill set, and he brought his connections over here, and has exploded our international footprint. Guys, this is, unbelievable. And some of the growth that's happening, of course, we talked about, Barry opening up the UK, but he and his team are also, along with Michael and many, many other super talented, hardworking people, are opening up all these countries. India, I think, is another one that's exploding. South Africa is one that is exploding as well. We have a team over there we're talking to. Italy, Puerto Rico, Hong Kong, Australia. I think UK and Australia were the first two. Mexico, Puerto Rico. I always wonder why they never said Puerto Rico instead of Puerto Rico. I don't know why that is, because it seems like it would be Puerto. Anyway, this is just the beginning of our international growth. And I'll tell you guys, I tell people all the time when I'm talking about EXP and the growth potential, that is impossible with any other platform, period. It's just not going to happen. There's no way anybody else can even, we're so far, this was founded in 2009. I didn't really give you guys the full chronology of how this went down, but it was founded in 2009. And so we're a decade ahead of everyone else. There's no way that anybody can ever catch up to us. And this platform that we own would be impossible to rebuild and fortify and strengthen. So I say, look, here's the deal, guys. Remember this: 1, 10, 100. 1, 10, 100. 1 million agents, 10 years, 100 countries. Okay, so I want you to write that down somewhere. And remember, because we'll talk again. And when this happens, I want us to remember this day, mark down today, this moment, this day, and I want you to remember 1, 10, 100, because that's where we're headed. And it's exciting. It's super exciting. So, all right, we'll skip to the next one. All right, are you taking over now, Alexis? I've been chatting.
This is my time, Miss Sean. All right, Marcus, if you'll admit and mute while people are coming in, because we're still having people come in. Before we jump into this, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Alexis Hughes, North Carolina, South Carolina agent. I've been licensed in real estate for 4 years. 3 of those have been with EXP Realty. So I was a new baby agent when I came on. I am a 3-time Icon agent. So I've iconed all 3 years that I've been with EXP. Just named 2021's America's Best Real Estate Professionals, which is a honor beyond belief, top 1.5% in the country. So a lot of what we're going to talk about right now and why I'm speaking on it is because these are the things that helped me get there. Welcome to our world, our cloud campus. It's really, like Marcus was saying, very hard to wrap your brain around the fact that you do have an office. You just don't have to get in your car, drive 20 miles, spend 45 minutes to an hour of your day to get to your office. You can literally be in your office, in your car. You can be in your office when you're at home. You can be in your pajamas. Nobody's going to see you, but you're always going to look the best dressed you've ever looked in our cloud campus. What I love about our cloud campus is it is robust. There are those 600 plus admin staff there. Our broker in charges are in there. I don't know any other company out there where I can say, you know what, I am talking to an agent in Mexico. Let me pop into Mexico's office real quick. So it's really cool to be able to take international trips at the click of a button and get the answers that you need. For instance, Georgia, I was considering getting licensed in Georgia. I know nothing about that. We all know going on the real estate commission website, sometimes it can be hard to understand. I popped into Georgia's broker operations room, was able to get my questions answered like that. I have agents in California. I have agents in Florida. I have agents in Georgia. And so a lot of times it's really good for us to all connect together. And sometimes you just don't want to do it via Zoom. We have this amazing platform. Why not use it? So we have our private meeting rooms. If I have a client that I want to meet that, let's say, is in New York and relocating here, we can actually meet in office suites in our world. And so that's really, really cool to have that. Again, this is where that 75 plus hours of training takes place. And you're learning from top agents within our company. So we have last time I checked, it was 55,000, but we're probably closer to 60 now. That is the top 1% of the company teaching you in this live training. So the experts, the multi-million-dollar producers, we always wonder, how did you make $1 million in commission? Well, you're going to learn exactly how they did that from them. So I really, really love the fact that I can take this anywhere. I can be on meetings. I can attend EXP Con events when we do them virtually, literally from anywhere. I have a video of me driving down the road. My husband is driving and I'm in my office in a training class learning while we're on the way to Pennsylvania to see our family. So very, very, very awesome. Our EXP solutions, you guys want to know, how are you going to help me power my business? What about EXP makes you so great? I will say, before I joined EXP Realty, I was hovering around 5 million in production. In our area, the average price point is like 275. So not bad production, but not the best. I was mediocre in comparison to a lot of the agents I aspired to be. Our solutions have propelled me from barely 5 million, struggling to do that, to closing 2020 out with over 20 million in volume as a single agent. Now I've got a team of 8 agents that I lead here locally. And so it's amazing how we got there. Our dashboard, our EXP Enterprise. I say this all the time, and I'm sure it's like a broken record, but for those of you that have never heard it, your EXP Enterprise is like the cockpit of a plane. It is where you need to be to make sure that plane is flying. every single thing that you need, the gas, the controls, everything here. So you can go into enterprise and you can access our investor relations. We're very transparent. We're trading on NASDAQ, so we have to be. We're very transparent with our financials about our sister companies. Official press releases. I don't know if you guys have ever been on Facebook and seen all these things all these EXP agents are sharing, but this is where we're getting it from. We always know exactly what's going on with our company. We don't have to wait to know. I've seen lately, now that Real Trends announced the top 1,000, the 500, and all of these really big accolades, I've seen agents at other firms in our area make a post and like, wow, I didn't even know I made this list. Thanks for tagging me in this, Bob Smith. How do you not know that you have received an award that puts you in the top 0.5% to 1.5%? How do you not know that? Here at EXP, you don't have to worry about it. It's all there. And then in our workplace, which we'll talk about more, it's highlighted in the announcements. There's no way you're not going to know if you win something with us. We have our charitable organizations. I was named 2019 Humanitarian of the Year. So this is very important to me, close to my heart. You guys may be people that give back or don't want to give back. No judgment whatsoever, but I love the fact that I can look at what our charitable organizations are. And if I want to organize something locally to support those, that I can. We have our preferred partners. There are so many partners that we have. Doesn't mean you have to use them, but it's really cool. Our home warranty companies, if you want to know who the preferred partner is, it's there. If you want to know who the preferred healthcare is, because we offer healthcare, it's all right here. Additionally, you click dashboard, you know exactly what your volume is, how close you are to capping, what you've got to do. You can pull your closed transaction report, see exactly how much you've paid in fees for the year. Transparency. If you were to, and I say this because I ask most agents this when I talk with them, what was your production last year? Do you know how many agents just don't know that? And do you know how bad that is? If you don't know what your production was, how do you know where you're supposed to go? That's like me saying, hey, meet me at the destination, but not giving you a map marking the destination. You're going to be all over the place, not knowing what to do. So that transparency really, really, really helps. Some of our other solutions that we have are SkySlope. That is our transaction management. So we have people that are looking through your files constantly, and they're helping you. They're letting you know, hey, on the buyer agency agreement, you missed checking whether they agree to dual agency or not. Let's get that fixed. They are making you audit proof. Additionally, we're paperless. I don't know about you guys, but when I joined EXP, I had a bonfire party that had all of my paper files that I had at my previous brokerage, where it would take about a week for the broker in charge to review, maybe a week after that to get my commission from the actual deal. I had to take those. I had to retain those for 3 years for the real estate commission. Big bonfire, all went up in smoke because now they're all here at all times. Additionally, with SkySlope and the transactions team checking behind me, the day of closing, my file is approved. I'm not waiting to get paid commission. I'm getting it directly deposited into my account if I choose that. Or in some states, we're actually able to be paid at the closing table. So before EXP ever gets their money, as long as your SkySlope file is good, you're getting paid at the closing table. So it's really cool to be able to have that directly deposited. The next thing, and as Marcus said, anyone that knows me knows I am a KV Core junkie. I love KV Core. A lot of people will ask me the question, hey, Alexis, what do you think helped you grow so much? KV Core is going to be at the top of that list. Top 3 things that EXP provides that helped me grow is definitely KV Core. It is like the assassin of CRMs. You can have, contactually, you can have Zerple, you can have Boomtown, you can have those CRMs and they may work great. But KV Core is like taking all the amazing features of those, rolling it all into one, empowering your business all in one place. You can do property boost from there and lead generate for free. I actually did a video on this and I tried to keep it to 5 minutes. It was really, really hard. But I've got 2,300 leads in my system and none of them are from my SOI because I'm terrible about entering SOI in there. They're all leads that the system has generated organically. I actually have text messages. If you don't believe me, let me know before the end of this and I will send it to you, of a client that came in through my KV Core in 2019 My system has been automatically following up with her based off of what she's doing on my website, what email she's clicking on, what houses she's favoriting. I got this alert that said hot, hot. That means that, hey, based off of their behavior, they're getting ready to buy soon. I reached out to her about a property I saw she favorited. We're going to see that today. She's approved already with the lender, and we're going to see it today. And she said, you know, Miss Alexis, I love watching you on Facebook. I didn't even know I was on Facebook. And I laughed. She did it because I stayed in contact with her. It wasn't me physically doing it. It was my system. If I want to know about an ad, we have people that say Facebook ads don't work. Well, how do you know? What analytics do you have? KV Core shows you the analytics. It's going to show you exactly what the sources from all these people coming into your KV Core are. And it's going to show you how well they're working. Where did they rank? It's going to show you the top 10 listings from your MLS, the top 10 listings that people are viewing on your profile. How amazing would it be to have that insight? You're kind of like a little Google stalker and you're like, oh, this is the top 10. I'm going to go ahead and blast this out to everybody that it matches in one email. 200 people touched right there at the drop of the dime. I could go on and on about KV Core. I've literally done a 4-part class, so it's like 4 hours total on it. But when people ask me what difference in your business did EXP help you with, KV Core is at the top of that list because it is a tool that is just endless possibilities. We'll talk about EXP Workplace. So I know everybody's on Facebook. Workplace is basically like Facebook, identical, but it's only for EXP. It allows you to collaborate. If you guys are a part of any of the real estate referral groups, I'm sure you've seen on Lab Code Agents or Real Estate Mastermind, someone saying, need an agent in California, Los Angeles, California. And there are cheerleaders all over this page tagging people. It's the same person every single time. But 9 times out of 10, if you pull up that person's production, they haven't sold enough for 25 people to be referring them. So it's cheerleaders, not, and you're swamped. You're like 300 comments in, and you maybe have 1 or 2 people that have actually worked with you as a referral partner to refer you. Not with EXP Workplace. What's awesome is we have our own in-house referral network because a rising tide floats all boats. We want to keep those referrals in-house because it boosts our sales. And obviously not a stock advisor, but you know, common sense deduces that the higher our sales go, the market price of our stock should probably go up with it. So it's really, really amazing. The first month I was with EXP, I had 3 million from referrals alone. Could you imagine capping simply off of the in-house referrals that your firm provides for you? We also have groups within this. So if you are someone that you're like, I really want to learn commercial, we have a group for that, for you to collaborate. If you're someone that's like, you know what, I want to start a group of all of my own, and I want to call it EXP Ninjas. And the only thing we want to talk about is how to grow your sphere of influence on social media. There's groups for that. You're learning from experts, you're collaborating. If you guys have ever gone to any kind of training or event that was worth a crap, I'll just say it, then you know you left that event motivated. You left with so much energy, ready to go, ready to implement that. Workplace, the groups within Workplace are like that. You're in there and collaborating, and then you're just, the energy and motivation that you have afterwards is amazing. We have our marketing center. This is one of the things you're going to find from that EXP Enterprise, the cockpit of your plane, which is your business. And many people don't understand why this is so important. So I'm going to go into a few examples of why having EXP marketing is amazing. So at my old brokerage, before I joined EXP, we had listing presentations, we had mailers. I think we had a buyer consult. I don't know if we did or not, but it wasn't branded for me. So when I'm leaving it behind, I'm leaving it behind with the firm's email address, the firm's phone number. And what do you think is going to happen? It's a lot easier to misplace my business card than it is an actual listing presentation. So they don't have my cell phone for whatever reason. They call the firm. Well, whoever's on floor time is getting that lead, most likely. So what's really cool is you can go in and we have all of the tools that you're going to need: buyer consults, mailers, listing consults, your logos for sell signs, all of it that you can brand to yourself with your phone number, your email, your headshot in like 2 clicks of a button. People don't understand why this is so important. And the example I give is when I was first with EXP Realty, I had a lead come in. They wanted a house on a specific street because their daughter and son lived on that street. They were relocating. We had one house to see. When it saw it, they hated it. I don't know. It was just divine intervention. I was like, wait, I can farm this street. This house was about 45 minutes from where I live. So let's be real. If I would have left, went home, designed something and said, you know what, I'm going to come back tomorrow, most likely my schedule is going to get full and I won't come back tomorrow. What I was able to do was pull over to the side of the road, within 3 seconds, get a door hanger that was specific to this need. We have clients wanting to live on your road. If you have thought about selling, please let us know. It was more in depth than that, but you get the gist. Popped it to a Staples just 5 minutes down the road, went, picked it up. I door knocked this street with those hangers on the fly and literally found them a house and got listings and buyers from it too. So that is amazing. It is important in this day and age that you be able to implement strategies quickly and on the fly. And that is one of the reasons that EXP marketing is so important, because it allows you to do that. It also saves you money. If I would have sent a mailer, a concept to a graphic designer and said, please help me get this branded to myself and everything like that, I would have spent $250 just on the design alone, not even getting it printed out. So agent commissions and split. This is the bread and butter, what everybody wants to know. 80-20 commission split. So I had an agent ask me one time, is there any flexibility on the commissions for the deals that I've already been working on that aren't under contract yet? And this is exactly what I told her. I said, no, there's no flexibility there, because EXP believes that every agent deserves the same opportunity. And that's what I love about this. You're not going to get special treatment because you're best friends with the broker in charge's wife. You're going to be the same split every single year, 80-20. You cap out at 16,000. So what's that look like? Everybody hears that number, they think it's super big. 16,000 is approximately 2.6 million in volume. If you're doing your business anywhere near consistently, you should do that. If you're a brand new agent and that seems overwhelming, don't let it, because if you're taking advantage of the tools, then you're going to be fine. And I say that as a certified mentor. I have had in the last 4 months, 3 agents come in to EXP, graduate the mentoring program, and within a month, they're capped and they're good to go. So it's kind of like riding a bike. If we're setting you on the bike, we're giving you the bike, you're sitting on it, it's up to you to pedal. We're giving you the tools. It's up to you to get in and use them. So you'll be fine. Once you hit your cap, you're going to be at 100% commission until the next anniversary. So if you join EXP in the month of June, your anniversary date is going to be July 1st. It's always the first of the following month that you join. And so what that means is if you cap, you get 100%. And what you see down at the bottom and very small is there is a $250 transaction fee that comes out of that. Once you've paid enough in for each transaction, which is approximately 20 deals, you are what's called an icon agent. And you get your entire cap back in company issued stock. So I've iconed 3 times. I'm pretty happy with my stock portfolio. Enough so that when these flat fee brokerages try to get me to come over to them, I laugh, because there's no way they can ever give me more than 100% of my commission. With our stock, I get more than 100% commission. Over here, standard costs. We all want to know, well, what's it cost? This has got to cost tons of money. No, it does not. $149 startup fee, that's going to cover your first month of fees. And it's also going to get you 1,000 business cards. It's going to get you access to all of your systems, your website, your CRM, the training, the world, all these amazing things that we just talked about. $85 a month, there on out. Every transaction that you do is going to have a $25 broker review fee that comes out of it. Every transaction you do is going to have a $40 risk management fee. A lot of people are like, what's risk management? That's errors and omissions. So at any other firm, most likely if you're paying desk fees, they're trying to build that cost into your desk fee. We just say, hey, pay $40 from every transaction. Once you've paid $500 into your errors and omissions, you're good. You don't pay that fee anymore. If for some reason you don't, then you don't. You don't have to pay more than you need. This is for US, obviously. So if you're on this call and from another country, then let's get together afterwards and talk about yours. So with that being said, we are going to pass this back off to Marcus to talk about our equity opportunities and how you can earn the stock, purchase the stock, what it means, why it's so amazing.
Alexis, phenomenal job as always. Thank you so much. The equity opportunities here are cool. I mean, this is not the reason I'm here, but I love the rising tide lifts all boats comment that Alexis made, because it is like that. It feels very familial. We're all kind of working towards the same goal, right? And this is a beautiful way to tie us, to link us together and to give us something to work for that also gives us value for the work that we're already doing. I mean, if you're going to be selling houses anyway, why not have some stock to go along with it, right? I mean, just more of a good thing. I love the, I'm gonna tell you a story of one of our agents that I always say when I talk to this part of the call, but I'll tell you just real quick. So there's a few different ways you can earn stock. And as you can see here, when you close your first deal, you will earn $200 of EXPI stock. When you fully cap, and that's at roughly 2.66, I think, million. Once you pay the 16,000 in that Alexis had alluded to, you get $400 in stock. And then if you invite an agent to come over and they join when they close their first transaction, you also get $400 in stock. I'm also a multiple icon winner, so yay me. And I'm super excited about the strength that has allowed me and power that's allowed me to have, because I've also built a pretty cool portfolio from the early days when I joined, even to the stuff that's coming on recently. It's just great to have a stock portfolio. I'm not a stock guy, never bought stocks. I mean, my wife and I have investments through our financial people, but I have no idea other than just keeping an eye on them. It's just not an area of my expertise. Now, my partner, Matthew Rotolo, who is in Colorado, who's actually killing it up there. Just his team is exploding. He's just, good people attract good people, and he's just such good people. And just their team is growing like crazy and super excited. He actually went to school for it or something, so he can talk circles around me when it comes to this stuff. But I do know that the power of it is, as I've said, multi-layered. So the icon, so you can also, there's also a 5% purchase program, which I am a part of, and I've been a part of since I came over to the company, where you can take 5% of your commission and get a 10% discount. Some of the stock that you're gifted takes 3 years to vest, which thank God that's the case, because I probably would have sold some of it, by now, the early day stuff. And had I done that, I would have lost a ton of money. So luckily that isn't the case. But for the stuff that you purchase, of course, you can sell it on the open market, make 10% immediately, or hold on to it and make more. I think it's a long haul. We all feel we feel very bullish on the stock because, and I'll again, rudimentarily explain this. EXPI is actually, it's an umbrella for 5 different companies, right? So it's not just the real estate company. So EXPI World Holdings is tied to 5 different companies, including the Success platform, right? Because we I don't know if you mentioned this, but we purchased Success in all of their businesses. The Showcase IDX, of course, the real estate company as well. There's several different companies that are covered in the EXPI stock. So that's why we feel so bullish about this stock, why we feel like it's a hold long term, because it's tied to all these other incredibly powerful, successful companies. Showcase IDX is going to go up against Zillow. Of course, Success is a huge, international brand, long-standing brand that we're doing training with now. There's so many different, elements and pieces and parts of this puzzle that give it a lot of undercarriage and a lot of support long-term. So very cool there. The Icon Award, as Alexis alluded to, if you go ahead and cap. And in some places in the country, that's a lot easier than others. My California agents can do that in like 2 deals. It takes us a little longer to do it over here on the East Coast in some cases, unless you're in New York City or something, but maybe South Florida. But once you cap, you do 20 more transactions in that calendar year. And that transaction is buying, selling a commercial deal. It's a rental property. It's a referral, right? It's anything that is basically going to equal that $5,000 payout. So once you hit that $5,000 payout, then they give you back the $16,000 in stock, including some community service and support and coming to the events that we have, and just basically, being a part, pouring back in, right? Being a part of our community and our culture, right? That's what they want. So there's some cultural requirements for that, but it is a fantastic program, and it's one that we've gotten a lot out of. So I'll tell you, so on to the story. Have an agent that is been with us for quite a while now, almost 3 years, and he's like a 30-something year veteran in real estate. And this guy's just a workhorse, super dependable, right? And he sells, I think, an average of 3 homes a month or so. And he's done that consistently for 30 years straight. The guy sells 3 homes a month, which is just phenomenal. I think that's just, talk about dependability. That's the kind of guy I want to learn from, because this is an up and down business, and it can be feast or famine. So to have that kind of consistency is pretty massive. And he's obviously an older guy. So he said, Marcus, I was thinking about the stock and thinking about the value of it long term, and thinking about, he even tied in lane 3, which we'll talk about here in just a second. He said, I was on at the beach with my wife, and we were just kind of chilling, drinking our Mai Tais, and he saw these kids build a sandcastle, and they spent a lot of time and effort and made it very detailed. Apparently this had not been their first time building a sandcastle, because they were, both of them, super impressed, but it was very meticulous. It took them a lot of time. They were going the extra mile, right? They were working really hard to have something at the end of their effort that was beautiful and unusual. And so they did that, and it was just, they said it was one of the most beautiful sandcastles they've ever seen, super intricate, and the whole thing had a moat and all that stuff. And apparently when high tide came in, guess what happened? Right? It got washed away. So he's like, in that moment, a light bulb went off, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is my real estate career. Every year I work feverishly and go the extra mile and meticulously detail my business and serve my clients and do more work than is necessary in many cases, quite frankly, right, for the end result, and build this beautiful thing. And then January 1, it all gets washed away, and I have to start over from scratch. He's like, that changed everything, because he was a Remax guy, and Remax is a great company, and he was a loyal Remax guy for years. So that really drove home for him the idea that I can do what I'm doing and still have more, still have some sort of additional support, have something to show for it long term. He goes, Marcus, if I would have found EXP, 30 years ago, can you imagine? He would have been retired 20 years ago. He said he's always going to sell houses because he loves it. And I'm in the same boat. I enjoy it so much. If I wasn't, in real estate, I'd probably be a counselor or psychiatrist or something, because I just love working with people. But, that really changed things for him, changed the game for him. So we will move on to I believe this is the last slide, guys. Are we almost, oh my gosh, we're almost at
How time flies when you're
having
fun.
Yeah, especially. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and spending time with us and hanging in there. We're almost done. I'm not going to spend a whole ton of time on this, guys. I could talk about this for an hour, but I will try to make it very simple and break it down in a way that hopefully we can all understand. This is the 3rd lane. This is the retirement lane, right? This is the lane. This is not the fast lane. This is the off ramp. The fast lane is lane 1. You go as fast as you can, sell as many houses as you can. Lane 2, of course, as we said, is the stock in the middle, and then this is the off ramp. So all I'm going to say is, what are you doing, right? If you're not, you got to do something. When it comes to building a long-term retirement potential, building long-term wealth, you got to do something. So what are you doing? And the beauty of EXP is it offers you the ability to be a top real estate agent. And so we've talked about, team building. We've talked about the resources. We've talked about the stock. We've talked about the collaboration, the tools, the networking, all the stuff that we've discussed. So it gives you all that, but it also gives you an opportunity to build a business as well as offer agents the same with this revenue sharing model. And guys, all it is just small referrals. I mean, I just say, look, you're just getting small referrals off of the closings that these agents do. And it doesn't come out of the 80% that they get until they cap. It comes out of the 20% that goes to EXP. So it affects no one. Other than the fact that you're able to see a stream income, as well as these agents when they just share the model and say, look, guys, this has been revolutionary. It's been life-changing for me. This model offers more than any other model I've seen. I'm loyal to EXP, guys, but I'm just going to be honest with you here. Something else comes along that's better for my family and has a better model, I'm going to go there, right? Because it's not about, I mean, look, my agents that were loyal to me in the beginning, I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, they were all going to leave if I didn't do something, because it's just human nature. We got to look after our families. We got to look after our futures. And this is just a cool way, a brilliant structure that Glenn Sanford kind of basically borrowed from Keller Williams. It's very similar to the profit sharing model, but it's about 10 times, it's much more easy to understand because it's impossible. I defy you to ask a Keller Williams agent to explain profit sharing, just honestly. It's always a moving target. It's definitely the net number, right? The number that you kind of write off use to write off your taxes after everything else. It depends on the profitability of the market center. So it's never consistent here. It's always revenue. It's always off the top. It's always dependable. You always know what it is. And it stops once the agent caps. There's no more money coming in until the end of the year, and then it starts over again on day one, whatever that yearly cycle is for that agent. It's annual. It's not January to December. It's whenever they start for a 12-month cycle. So that's important to know too. So, again, just to give you some idea of this, how this works, you will invite, let's say, one agent, like let's say I invite Alexis Hughes. She comes over and she sells and she caps that year. I'm able to make $2,800. And then she brings another agent over and they cap. And as long as I have 5 agents on my first line that are qualifiers, and a qualifier is an agent that sells up to a $5,000 commission every 6 months, which is, what is that, a $200,000 house, right? So I always say, if you're not doing that, you're probably in the wrong business. You should at least be selling one $200,000 house every 6 months. So the qualification's pretty easy. So you're excited, you're telling people about the model, they're coming over, they're getting more money, they're getting more opportunity, more collaboration, and the opportunity to build something long-term that will help support them and their family while doing the career that they love. It's kind of a no-brainer. So, again, I could break this down and go into the details, but just suffice it to say, this is an incredible program that allows you to build your team and also not only make some additional stream income while you're selling houses, but allowing other agents to do the same. So every level that you have, as you can see here, is unlocked by 5 agents. So once you're up to 0 to 4, you see that on the right. Once you're up to 5, that second level is unlocked, 10 the third level, and so on and so forth. So the reality is, just on this right side here, as you can see, the people, the level ones, can very quickly turn into a residual income of $36,000 per year, which is, I think, maybe 2/3 of what the median income is for a 40-hour work week for North Carolina. So, you can see how powerful it is. I've got agents on our team. One of our big agents just hit $10,000 a month in stream income. And we're like we threw a party. That is life-changing stuff, guys. And he sells like crazy. He's doing a ton of business, probably 10 million a year. And then we've got other agents that just came on and they got their first revenue share check of $700, and they were able to, put gas in the car and pay, maybe a car note or whatever the case is. And it was life-changing for them. And then, of course, we've got other agents, I think, even on this call that are even farther above that and have really just shared this model and built, again, scale their team to a level that allows them to have the freedom and entrepreneurial mindset and support that they need while helping others build a legacy. So we thank you so much, guys, for spending this time with us, and wanted to open it up for any questions.
questions?
Bring it on. So I saw, let's see, let me go through the chat real quick here.
There were some in the chat.
Yeah, here's some questions. So Steve.
Yep, I had a few.
Yes, sir.
That is just the beginning of my list. I'm not gonna lie. I spoke with Alexis yesterday afternoon, evening while wrestling my kids. She was wrestling her kids, all fun and games. But I have a long list of questions that amount to probably about 16.
Okay.
And I would like to just discuss those privately, I guess. Not necessarily privately. I just don't have them on hand, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. And so what we'll do, Steve, is get those questions, make sure you have them written down, and we'll connect after this call. And I'm happy to answer. I know I answered a few of the private chat ones, but I'm happy to answer any of them. And just so, if you don't mind, Steve, can I take the questions that you asked and just put the answers out there for anyone that might be thinking the same thing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
So Steve asked, does it really take, give or take, 1 month to become a mentor? And so the mentoring program, you have to take a course to be certified as a mentor. It's somewhat self-paced, so it really depends on how fast or slow you go at becoming certified. There's an exam at the end, and you cannot be a provisional broker. You've got to sell so many houses a year to be able to be a mentor. And then he asked about MLS dues and if you're still required to be on a board of realtors. So MLS dues are your responsibility, and yes, you need to be on a board of realtors, simply because you can't work unless you are. All right, Marcus, are there any other questions?
I don't see any. I think Steve, you and Steve are going to talk offline.
Yeah.
And share some of those questions. I think that'll be great, because your questions, Steve, are probably everyone else's. So yeah. I think that'd be great to be able to share those. I don't see any other questions today.
I'm sorry. I was saying, if you want me to list them, I could pull them up right quick, but I don't know if everybody has time to sit and listen to them.
Hey, ask away, and what we can't get today, what we can't get on this call, we'll get when we speak privately.
I have a question.
Yes.
Go ahead, Crystal.
Hi. My question is, well, I will be coming in as a new agent, and I know some friends and some family that I have encouraged to take this path because they had been talking about it. So with me coming on board, how, as far as me bringing someone on, am I bringing them to the person who's that I would be joining with, or would they be counted as me even though I am a new agent? How does that work? That's a great
question.
Oh, so you being a new agent or a seasoned agent has nothing to do with revenue share. We've got agents that came on board, never sold a house a day in their life, that brought on 5 agents within a week. So if you, even though you're a newer agent in the mentoring program, bring an agent on, that would count as your line 1. And whoever brought you into EXP, that would be their line 2.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so Crystal, we actually call them sponsors. So just basically who's introduced you to the company, who has, who's the one that's kind of talked with you through it. And so that people have the option to choose whoever they want to be that sponsor. But as Alexis said, they would be, your sponsee, so to speak, in this case. And then your team would help them get plugged in to whatever they needed.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
No problem. Marley in the chat box asked, just curious, how did the brokerage name come about? So this is actually, I love telling this story. Marcus, do you even know the story of how we got our name?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So many words like exceptional, expert, excellence all start with EXP. They're all words that represent something of value, something that is elevated above the normal standards that we see within life. And they're words that really, really complement our core values: agility, community service, transparency. These are words that really describe that. And so basically when Glenn Sanford was deciding what to name, he said, look, this EXP starts with all the words that we want our company, our agents, and our core values to exhibit. And so we are EXP Realty.
I love that, Alexis. I always say that, it's a prefix. I always explain it like that. It's a prefix. And a little bit more than that, I love the way you explain that. Thank you. Is that, Glenn wants the agents to promote themselves. So one of the reasons that, in addition to that he chose EXP is so that the agents could, obviously we have to tag that on there for compliance purposes, which is fine, but he wants them to be able to promote themselves and not necessarily EXP. So it's just a prefix that supports and stands for all the power of the things that we believe in, but it also allows the agent then to put themselves front and center, being powered by the resource that EXP is. So I love that description. Thank you.
Marcus and Alexis, thank you for sharing that. I really, really love that. I like that concept.
You bet.
There's a reason for everything. Results are not
Yes.
random.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Steve? You've got your hand up.
Well, there's two that people may have. Now I've been doing research regarding the brokerages. Okay. Is there only, I know everybody's probably from all over the states, right? 50 different states. Is there only 3 brokerages per state, or how does that work?
So, Steve, each state has broker in charges or managing brokers based off of how many agents they've got. So, for instance, in North Carolina, we've got a ton of agents. So we've got 7. And also for the reason that the North Carolina Real Estate Commission requires, if we're bringing on new agents, that we have to have a broker in charge within so many miles of that new agent to be compliant with our state laws. So each state will have different numbers. Some of the smaller states that haven't grown quite as quickly as the larger ones, they'll have 1 managing broker. So that you will have managing brokers available to you, and we hire the number in each state based off of how many agents there are, kind of like the student to teacher ratio in a school. You don't want 1 teacher to 400 students.
Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Now, regarding the Spencers and mentors that you guys are referring to, how does that go about? Not me becoming one, but how often do I, as an agent, connect to that person? Is it just on our schedules, or I know you mentioned the EXP world and all that good stuff.
So a sponsor and a mentor, 2 totally different things, right? So a mentor is going to be someone, if you haven't closed 3 deals in the last 12 months, you're going to be assigned a mentor in your area. They're there to help you with the contract portion, make sure that you know, if you have a question about how do I win a multiple offer or something like that, they're going to be your resource for that for your first 3 deals. A sponsor is someone that introduces you to the company that you feel aligns with where you want to be in your business. And so that sponsor and you, how much you talk will really depend on, number 1, how much you, the agent, want to talk to your sponsor. Number 2, how available your sponsor makes themselves. So for instance, I know like Marcus, myself, our organization at EXP, so our upline, our downline, our east to west, we do trainings together, masterminds together, all of that. And all of the agents that are within our individual organizations are always invited to those. So I would say one of the things that agents that are newer on this call or are coming from a brokerage where they're lacking, they need to make it upfront known, like, what's your availability to me as a sponsor, and how are you going to help me grow if I want to grow? And then mentoring. A lot of people don't know. You don't have to just take the mentor they give you. You can absolutely ask for a list of mentors in the area so that you can interview them and ask those same questions to make sure that you have a good fit.
That is awesome information. Thank you.
Awesome. Good questions. All
I
right.
have one last
Crystal
question,
had her
please.
hand up. Go ahead, Crystal.
Yeah. So my other question is, where is the company most prevalent, in which states? Because I'm in Maryland, and the people that I'm speaking of are like in Rhode Island, in Georgia, in North Carolina specifically. So what is the presence of the company in those states?
So I don't know that I have exact numbers for every single state. I will say we are in all 50 states. The prevalence that you're talking about is from an agent attraction standpoint, right? So North Carolina, Texas, California, those seem to be the states where a lot of people love agent attraction. So that's why you're hearing from those agents the most. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a lot of agents actually working the real estate side of business in all states. if you'd like to know specifically for your state, like how many agents do you guys have in my specific area? What you can do is connect with whoever brought you onto this call, and they can arrange for you to meet in our world with that state broker, and you can ask those specific questions. There's just, I don't think there's any way for me to know that, or Marcus.
Okay, because I planned on having a conversation and I just wanted to know what their support would be on their end, because I think that would be very important.
Right. So, and I think Shay invited you to this call. She and your state broker and you can all meet together, so you can ask those dialed in questions about what's my local support team? Who are you? Am I going to mesh with you? Are you going to be available to me? What's our local, hyper local area look like in the real estate world?
Brenda Kasuva actually invited me.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Not only that too, but I think, and you may have covered this already, but you have the ability to, before you join, get a guest pass. And whoever you're talking to can take you on there and show you around, take you into the broker room, show you how it works. I actually did a video for someone that we're talking to that's bringing their whole team over, where I showed them not only sort of my rev share dashboard, I showed them kind of how some of this stuff works, not rev share, sorry, the enterprise dashboard. And I showed them KV Core, and I showed them, literally went into the world and real time showed them what it was like for their agents to experience the support that we offer. So I just recorded a video for them. They didn't have time to do anything live. And so I sent them in there, and then she's got a pass where she's able to go on and do some training and experience the power of what being truly powered by EXP means. So keep that in mind as well.
Try before you buy.
Thank you.
All right, guys, it's about 11:11. If we don't have any more questions, we are going to hop off of here. If you have follow-up questions that you think of, maybe after this, get with whoever invited you to this call. Be able, ask those questions with them. They'll answer it. If it's something they can't answer it, they'll connect you with someone that can. We are very grateful for everyone that joined today, and we hope to welcome you all into our EXP family.
100%. And apologies that we ran 15 minutes over. We had a lot to discuss, but thanks for hanging out with us and making the journey. So we look forward to seeing you guys later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.